Hi, and welcome to This Is Your Home. I'm Mark Stenabaugh, and I'm going to be your host for the next few shows. This Is Your Home is going to be a show that's going to come into your living room and introduce you to some of the people, places, events, and activities that take place not only in Brantford, but also in the communities surrounding our home. And today we have some very interesting guests, and I'm going to start with my left, and we have Don the Mediocre, and to his left, Doug the Great, and on the final seat, our resident songbird, I'm obviously thinking of lunch, not song, Hamburg, I'm the ham, Peggy Pratt. Sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you. What a way to start your television career, you're
Can
a bird.
I tell you, we're in the right place. I'm not embarrassed.
Okay.
It's all red here.
It matches our theme.
Yes.
Our guests today are representing the Participation House Telethon. And the Telethon is coming up very quickly. It's its 15th annual. And I'm going to ask our guests to explain exactly what the Telethon does and actually how did it get started?
Well, you're representing the Telethon, Don.
Well, thank you very much.
Actually, the Telethon's for Participation House, which is actually a large organization in the city now. It's a home for 30 adults who are physically challenged. But as well as the community should know is we have apartments. We also have outreach where we actually go out to people's homes and support them. And we have an education information office as well. So we do touch a lot of people in this community who are physically challenged in a lot of ways. But we also need support financially. So every year we have a lot of fun and we get a lot of people involved, such as City Sign and some other places and corporations that help us, especially the people watching, through a telethon. And every year we do it. Last, I think, 3 years we've had it at Eaton Market Square. And this year it's going to be very special because we're holding it on Valentine's Day.
And obviously we sort of tried to keep the theme for today's show, the Valentine's Heart theme, so that people would remember that on Valentine's Day you turn on your TV to Rogers Community 20 and see the telethon. Yeah. How many people does Participation House actually house? Well,
again, 30 residents. They're adults. Some people don't understand. Sometimes they think because you're physically disabled that you're a kid. But kids grow up and they still need support. So
some of us do.
Yeah. All our guys are adults. I always tell people, though, their biggest disability isn't being physically disabled, it's being environmentally disabled. So a lot of our people came to live at Participation House. They came from large institutions or from a very segregated lifestyle. So it isn't because maybe they have cerebral palsy or muscular dystrophy or something. It's that they haven't had a lot of opportunity to do things. And so what we try to do is get them involved in the community and try different things. And they become volunteers, they get working in the community, and they live in the community. And we know when they're ready to move out, when they decide to move out. You know, when they start calling the shots, then we know they're pretty well set then.
I can remember about 10 years ago when I first was doing talk shows on Rogers, that we used to do the telethon from Participation House, and of course it was a 24-hour telethon at that point in time, and it was brutal to do 24 hours. So maybe Donnie can tell us what times the telethon runs from, and what can we expect in this year's telethon?
Well, the telethon is on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. Do you like
Hard
that?
to keep a straight face talking, Don.
That's exactly.
Yeah. Well, let's be serious for a minute.
I try. Can we talk? Can we talk?
No, the telethon's on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, and we've kind of taken that theme over this year. There's a lot of activities. It starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and runs till 9 o'clock at night, and it's live right from Eaton Market Square, so everybody that's out there watching has an opportunity to come down and actually see. One is to see how Rogers really works. I mean, this is a big production. Well, there's tons of equipment. Most of our equipment is donated. Everybody has been very generous to us. We have Sherwood Music out of Kitchener. That company there provides all the lighting and the sound equipment, and they have technicians that'll come along with the equipment too, and that's all gratis. you know, and
So through the generosity of our community, we can actually do the telethon at no cost.
Right,
well,
exactly.
we try to keep the cost as low as possible. I mean, there are a few things that, you know, you just cannot get donated, but the cost in them we have negotiated for a lower price than what is normally paid, and it's been beneficial. So this year, I think the telethon is going to come in at the lowest budget ever.
Entertainment-wise, what can we expect to see?
Well, well, that's why Don and I are here. They didn't ask us to entertain during.
You're going to see a force.
They
Go
wouldn't
ahead,
let
Don.
us on the telethon.
They wouldn't let us on the telethon. I don't know why.
I
Are you looking at me?
I can't understand it. I can't understand. Now I know that there are some very interesting local groups that are going to be. There's a house band, of course, that will be performing. Plus, a lot of local entertainers are very generous at giving up their Sunday afternoon to come in and do 15, 20-minute segments to entertain the people as well. Other than entertainment, what can we expect to see on the telethon? I know we think of entertainment, but what else?
Well, one thing is we have a casino at the telethon this year.
Oh, really?
And that's going to be the first for us, and it's an in-house type casino. You can come down, and all the donations that are made through the casino are going to go directly to the telethon.
So we're supplying some other forms of entertainment for people who want to come down and help PH, and to also spend some time in the afternoon.
And we have a carnival too that's happening right inside Eaton Market Square.
And like last year, you can come down and get your hair cut.
Yep, that's another.
The cut-a-thon, which are local barbers.
And we should also mention a week prior to the telethon, we have our Opportunity Week. So we have special events all during the week at Eaton Market Square, starting off actually at the Brandland Community Center with a wheelchair basketball tournament put on by the Bobcats and North Brantford Lions Club. So we have 10 teams to start the thing rolling, and we should get like a donation from $4,000 to $6,000 to get things starting at
now, I would assume that a lot of these activities, if people watch the local newspapers and listen to the radio station and to the coming events that go across your screen on Rogers, that you will have a better idea of days and times of what's going to happen during the Opportunities Week. Now, because we're not going to get to see Doug and Don on the telethon, we're going to provide them with a forum with Peggy and I over on our other stage, and we're going to meet you over there in just a minute. So we're just going to have a Valentine's chocolate, and we'll meet you on the other stage. We'll be right back.
Doug, that was pretty good, Doug, but something's missing here. We're missing something.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
You guys aren't in the mood, are you?
I'm always in the mood.
You have to put those, slip those on because.
Okay.
Is that going to make you borderline flamboyant?
Oh,
I'll
no.
clean these.
I want you to be incognito.
Yes.
Here,
Amazingly.
and you need an instrument.
Obviously, you knew these were for me. You put a string on them because I lose my glasses all the time. I don't know. I've never had lessons. Can anybody play these?
Oh yes, yes. You just there. You have it. You have
I can
it.
be outstandingly average.
Oh, you'll fit right in with this group. I'm telling you.
Where's your
Like-
hat? Don't you have a
tough
hat?
being a pig.
You need a hat. Okay.
Do you want to try a hat?
Now
too?
what
Like
what
you
are we gonna do? Where'd everybody go?
Yeah, yeah. Like Doug, you may not even work. You may not even work because the only time I want you to really.
That's what
accelerate-
everybody says.
No, yeah.
You never work.
You're never gonna work, Mark.
My
no,
mother
no.
won't recognize me when I.
When Doug, if Doug happens to make him, yeah, if Doug happens to make a mistake, then that's when we want to react. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Don't
Are you
make any
ready?
mistakes.
3, 2, 1.
Thank you. I'll try to come up with some way to wear this. You missed your cue. You missed your cue.
Oh, what is that,
apple.
Doug?
It's an apple.
Oh, that is an apple.
Sure. I hope you get the right thing. Oh, we missed that
Oh,
one.
come on, guys, get right on it there.
Oh.
Oh, he fooled you. You have to eat the whole thing, Doug?
Oh! 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 Don't worry, the maid will get it.
So glad I came here today.
I'm just glad it wasn't a tomato.
Doug wonders why he doesn't get invited out for supper often. I can see why this act was never invited on.
Oh.
Wonderful! What a the big. This is our big finale. Big finale for the telethon. Wow. Ready, Peggy?
Okay, when he drops them, you've got
Well, I don't know why you haven't been invited onto the telethon, but just a reminder to everyone, Sunday, February 14th from Eaton Market Square live from 12 noon till 9 p.m. There's going to be lots of things to see and do. Doug the Great will be there, Don the Mediocre will be there, and I will even be there, believe it or not, hosting a portion of the telethon. So we look forward to seeing you all there. We will be right back with our resident songbird, who is going to perform a number for us, Peggy, and then we're going to be back in the green room with Colin Padden. We'll be right back.
What a difference a day makes. 24 little hours. It brought the sun and the showers. Where there used to be rain. My yesterday was too deep. Today I'm a part of you, dear. My lonely nights, they are through, dear. difference a day makes. Oh, there's a rainbow before me. Skies above can't be stormy. Since a moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day makes, and the difference is you. Happy Valentine's Day.
And we're back in the green room, and our next guest is Colin Padden. For those of you who may be tired of the common medical practice of going and seeing your MD, there are other forms and methods of curing yourself from the inside out or keeping yourself well. And two of those ways are through aromatherapy and reflexology. And Colin Padden is both of those, and he has a business here in Brantford which offers those. And I'm going to ask Colin to explain to us here, what are both of those treatments?
Well, aromatherapy has its roots roughly about 4,000 years in climbing. The Egyptians used it a long time ago, and they have records in the papyri in the Egyptian temples and the pyramids, which date back as far back as we can remember in recorded history. The Greeks then took on the knowledge that they gained with aromatherapy products. We're talking about natural aromatic plants that are used to develop throughout the years different holistic approaches to medicine. A long time ago, all the medicines we had in every country had its roots from natural aromatic plants, which had the healing substances needed to heal us. As time got by and austerity set in, we found that it was cheaper to reproduce the oil synthetically, especially with the two great wars that came about. And they didn't want to wait for the plants to grow, so they started reproducing them using chemical means, which means that we now get side effects with the medicines that we take for one problem gives us quite often another problem. The idea of holistic medicine, I guess, is it's a holistic approach, which means it's the whole body. And what that does is it's totally hypoallergenic. The oils we use, I brought a few samples here today just to show people, are hypoallergenic, which means that they don't have any side effects at all. And they're highly concentrated. To get an aromatic oil, basically what you do is you get the plant material, you distill it using steam distillation. And it's also interesting to note that the steam distillation process that we use today is exactly the same as we used 4,000 years ago.
Oh, really?
The only
I would
difference,
assume it's not the same people doing it, though.
Oh no, I hope not. No, Mummy doesn't do it anymore. The idea is that they force steam through the plants.
Little itty bitty.
Little one.
Okay, now I was reading some articles earlier, and they said that there are literally hundreds of senses. So do you know exactly how many there are?
Yeah, there are approximately 375 oils that we use in aromatherapy. I tend to go for about 52 oils. I stock 52 oils, different types. I find that within my repertoire will get rid of most of every problem I come across.
Now, each of those would help a certain ailment?
Yeah. Is specifically targeted at a
May I
different
smell one
problem.
of these?
Please do.
They all smell different.
Yeah, each oil is different. Each oil has its own aromatic smell. Each oil comes from its own different plant. This one is hyssop.
This is orange blossom.
Orange blossom, and that's jasmine. There's some of the expensive ones.
So what would the jasmine be used for?
Jasmine is more of an uplifter. So if you were
Give
down,
it to me.
I've got it.
it's also marvelous for the skin. Each oil has like a list of things that it's good for, and there's no one oil that is good for just one thing. For instance, jasmine oil, besides being an uplifter, is antiviral. It's also helps with things like influenza, with skin problems like eczema. So you get a whole variety.
So this is through massage.
That's right. What we do is we mix these oils with a base oil like grapeseed. We like grapeseed because it has no smell, no taste, no color, so it doesn't interfere with the smell of the oil we're using. And we produce what we call a synergistic blend. So rather than use just one oil for your complaint, we make a blend that suits you as an individual, because your metabolic rate is different to Mark's.
I hope so.
And the way
Now,
you react is different.
One treatment would, like, say Peggy wanted to go in and would one treatment do anything for her, or is it something you need to come back every week for a while to get it to a certain period where it will stay? How does it work?
Depends again on your metabolic rate. For instance, if you both went to a dentist and you had your jaw frozen while he worked on it, the freeze would wear off at different times because your metabolic rate is different, the way you react to drugs is different. And it's the same with the oils. I've had people come for one treatment with things like a frozen shoulder,
oil on me.
and after one treatment they're able to move their arm free of pain, and it's great. And the same with when somebody has a really severe cold. Quite often after one treatment they are free of that cold.
Oh, really?
But what
See,
I
and
tend
that
to
was
advise...
a question I was thinking of with my laryngitis.
Yeah, laryngitis
So would
is
that
quite
work?
Yeah, the easiest way of helping laryngitis is in inhalation, so you're actually taking it into the air tract, as it were, which will combat the virus, which is creating the influenza in the first place.
So you would steam one of these and get the
That's
vapors.
right, get the vapors. The old story where you see
Yeah,
somebody
oh
with
my,
a
I
towel
got the
over their head.
vapors. Oh, this is wonderful. Evening primrose oil. I'm interested because I take evening primrose oil in capsule form. What would you use this for in your therapy sessions?
Evening primrose is unique. It's one of the few plants that carries a constituent part called gamma-linolenic acid. And that's been so beneficial to so many problems.
I'd like to hear that again.
Gamma-linolenic acid.
Yes.
Say that 3 times fast.
That was 4,000 years ago.
Yeah. There are companies now that produce this and only produce this because it's such a expensive oil to have. That's half
I know
empty
it's
now.
very expensive to take.
Can this be used as a preventative?
More so than curative. The holistic approach to the body is the whole approach. When you go and see a doctor, for instance, and you say, I have a headache, take 2 Tylenol, and you're gone. Or if you say, I have an arm ache, and you say, well, I can't really do anything about arthritis. Holistic medicine can. So what we do is, by having regular treatments, for instance, if you came to me and you said, Colin, I would like a treatment, I would assess you, and then from that assessment, we'd apply various oils. What I'd suggest is you come for 5 weeks on a 5-week course, once a week, and then after that, I find that 99% of all your problems are no longer with you.
Isn't that interesting?
Do you find, do any of your clients actually buy the senses themselves and try to treat themselves at home with them?
That's right.
But
They do.
that's something that you do encourage?
Yes, I mean, these oils are very, very safe, with them being hypoallergenic, which means you can't get any reaction to them that's adverse to your own living tissue. Most of the oils, in fact, there are 2 of the oils I could name that are 25 times more powerful than the most potent bactericidal that we can make in a laboratory. So if you put your Javex and your ammonias and your bleaches all in one bucket, mixed it up, one of these oils is 25 times more potent, and yet I could drink this.
Oh, really?
That's the difference. It won't hurt you at all. It won't taste very marvelous.
No, no, I noticed
like
the
eating a
smell
flower.
wasn't so marvelous.
I'll tell you, I've got some of that peppermint on my hands, and it's just,
Ooh,
Yeah.
people think you're a candy
yes,
cane.
it's right there.
Good
You
thing
know,
you're not wearing a striped outfit.
most of these country clubs today, most of the people, the prerequisite to get in is to have a heart transplant, you know, your bypass with your valves, and they now are using these pig valves because they're so similar to the human heart
body,
valve. So I was just kind of wondering, you know, every time they pass a barbecue joint, though,
Do
would
they
their
react?
eyes water or something like this? Like, could you use do they have these like
Barbecue sauce, sure.
that you know
No.
might hold them back?
HP, you know.
Each one of the
You never
oils
know.
we use is from a plant, a tree, or a fruit. And that's as far as it goes. They're
That's
not
how it
tested on
goes,
animals.
So we're not going to use these
right.
as seasonings per se.
Oh, no.
If people were interested in learning more, I see that you've got a couple books now. Are these books that you would suggest if somebody was really interested in knowing the history of aromatherapy to go to your local library and find if they have, you have The Art of Aromatherapy, maybe if you just want to show the front of it so that people can see it. I don't know if Matthew can get that on camera or not. And there's Aromatherapy for Women.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure that if you go to your local library or bookstore, that if you ask for that topic of aromatherapy, that they'll be able to help you. Now, you also offer reflexology, and before we run out of time, I want to hear a little bit about what reflexology is. Now, I know because I've had it done, but there's a lot of people in our audience who probably are saying, what does this guy do?
Well, reflexology has its common root as calling zone therapy. And the idea is that, I don't know if you can see this little section down here, but it shows the feet, and each part of the foot has a particular relation to the organs within the body. And so by stimulating that part of the foot, you're actually stimulating part of the body. And it's so effective that we have a thing which, well, I call it a diagnostic technique, but it's more of a fault finding. So if somebody comes to me with a problem, they say, hey, I'm not going to tell you what my problem is, you find out. By putting pressure on various parts of the feet, I can find out exactly what's wrong with you. So that helps then with treating with the aromatherapy. And that science, again, goes way back to the Egyptians.
Is it the big toe that's the head? I thought
not
that's
quite,
what, not quite?
No, the toes tend to be more the sinus areas. But having said that, the big toe does carry the brain there too, and the pituitary gland and so forth. All the organs that relate to the head.
Now, I've
are
seen
in the
that
big
there are
toe.
things that you can buy, and they're for in your shoes. Are they of any use or no? That they're supposed to acupuncture as you want?
Well, no, because everybody has a different, like, you're a different
I'm
size
different.
to me, and so forth. So if you have a set point in the foot and you say that's the set point and you press it and it's not quite right, that's why you need to have the human touch, because when you're touching somebody, you're in contact with somebody rather than me getting a pad with a load of stick thanks, put it on your hand, you say that'll work. When I teach aromatherapy and reflexology, which works together, it's a very hands-on orientated subject.
Well, thank you, Colin. I see that we're almost out of time, and I've got to wrap up, but I'd like you to come back again if you would, and maybe we'll go a little bit more in depth into either aromatherapy, reflexology, or both. I'd like to thank today's guests on This Is Your Show, Don the Mediocre and Doug the Great, participation telethon on Valentine's Day from Eaton's Market Square live. Don't forget that. Thanks to Colin Padden, aromatherapist and reflexologist. Our songbird, thank you. Peggy Pratt, it was wonderful. We'll see you on our next show because Peggy's going to be back with us. If you have any thoughts or ideas or concerns about our show, please write This Is Your Show, care of 23 Harris Avenue in Brantford, N3R 7W5. And my thought for the week, the troubles of the world would be eliminated if every person would put themselves in the other person's place. We'll see you next time on This Is Your Show. I'm Mark Stenabaugh. Have a great day. Thank you.
That thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day makes, and the difference is you.
Happy Valentine's Day.